Hi, my name is Pablo and I'm the Clumsy Rider. Welcome to the channel. Today I'm planning to do a quick long-term review of my go-to bike. This is a Commencal Meta AM29 from 2019. I've been riding it for about 8 months so far, almost on a daily basis, and using it for everything from trail riding up and down technical trails, for big enduro races, long days, so weekends in the bike park. Almost everything that is not cross-country, I use this bike. So we're gonna go through the goods, the bads, if it's a good value for the money even now in 2020. Also how the bike is holding on after 8 months of very intensive use, and what the pros, the cons, what can be improved, some like upgrades that you can do. I will show you how my bike, I have working on personalizing it, like for my own for my own taste. So we'll go through all that. Welcome. The rear travel is 160 and the front is 170. The dropper in my size bike, that is medium, is 125, which for the way I ride, I find it a bit too short. I would like to be able to fit 150mm travel dropper post, but due to the shape of the down tube, I mean of the seat tube, it's quite difficult if you sit right in between sizes like I do. About the geometry, the seat tube angle is 76.5, head tube angle 65.5, top tube length 586 millimeters, chainstay 432 millimeters, wheelbase is 1208 millimeters, and the reach is 435 millimeters. The weight sits right below 15 kilos at 14.7 kilos, which in my opinion is not all that bad. This is a bike that rides very well planted, is very stable at speed because of that weight, because of the geometry. So you will feel that this is not a trail bike, it's heavy in the geometry and in the weight, but that gives you extra stability under the sense. It will get you up to the top, it will pedal up, but it will not be an agile bike. The main reason for this, the main goal for this bike is to make you go down fast and stable. I like that about this. I don't mind the extra weight, and I think in my personal case, it makes me feel more confident. I'm a clumsy rider, so I like the way the bike rides because of the weight and because of the geometry. Okay, so first we're gonna go through the things that, in my opinion, I don't really like about the bike, and we're gonna take it very simple. There's not so many, but they can get a bit annoying. We'll go through them. So for the starters, you'll see here the brake that it comes with are SLX. That means that they're good brakes. They are, but they are 2-piston brakes. That means that the braking won't be all that powerful. It will hold for everyday trail riding, but when things start getting a bit more aggressive, you will notice that you really have the lack for power, and you will find yourself wishing you had a bit more like a consistency. Especially, for example, long days at the bike park, weekends when you ride a lot, or long enduro races, you feel like after a while they lack that kind of consistency that 4-piston brake would give you. But that's easily upgradable. It's not cheap, but you can do it. The next thing on the list is the dropper post that I came with the bicycle by default. I don't remember the brand, but it wasn't a good one. It used to get stuck or be very, very slow no matter how much I worked with the pressure, with the PSI. It wasn't reliable, especially in very muddy terrain, or for example, if I was riding again the same long weekends at the bike park and I used to have it for a couple of hours in the lower position, it would be very hard to get it up again. I ended up replacing it. I will talk more about the replacement, the other dropper post that I fit. And the next thing that I don't like about the dropper post is the fact that, for example, this bike is size M, and as I said, I'm sitting right between sizes, and because of this curve on the frame, you are not able to fit a longer dropper post. I tried to fit the different models that would be 150 travel, and they just didn't fit for just about 1 centimeter or something. It wasn't possible. So that was a bit frustrating for me, because you find yourself, especially in big drops and big hits, that this sits a bit too high, and you have that in mind, in the back of your mind. You might hit your groin if you you try to like use you bend your knees too much when you drop. Okay, next thing, some people could argue with me, but it's the wheels that it came with. Of course, my bike is like a middle of the range bike. So where they save money, of course, is the wheels. They do the job. They will take quite a lot of beating. But in my case, I'm a pretty clumsy rider, so I keep casing big hits that I know I won't manage and keep trying. So I ended up replacing, totally destroying the rear wheel, and I replaced it for a DT Swiss HX531 or something like a much better wheel. But just bear in mind that this model, or in general, like middle range models from Commencal, they will have decent wheels, but not the best ones in the world. Continuing about the wheels, the tires that you get when you first buy the bike in this middle range class, of course, only you get cheaper compound. So you get Schwalbe tires. They were a Magic Mari front and a hand stamp rear, but they were the cheapest compound. It doesn't have like any rank rate. It's just the cheapest you can find. That is something that is very easily upgradable, but it's just so you bear in mind that when you go for, at least in this model, in the middle range, you will get this lower, cheaper compound. That's where all brands save money. So yeah, that's things I don't like. Now we'll go through the things I do like about the bike. I will walk you through that, and in my opinion, as I said, it's just my point of view on the bike. After how much I have beaten the crap out of it, it's still value for money, and I think other than that, this little thing that doesn't allow me to fit an M size, a longer size dropper post, I think that it would be for me the perfect bike. I like the brake rotors. They are 200 millimeters front and rear. It's just about changing the pistons and the calipers, and it should be good enough. I like the fact, one little big detail for me that is very personal, is the fact that you can fit a decent size water bottle. It won't fit 750 milliliters, I'm sorry, but you will fit half a liter one, and you see here that I have a space even to fit a little pump, the water bottle, and a little spare kit here. So I think the frame design that allows you to fit many things there, I like that very much. Geometry wise, I am very happy with it. It's not the steepest seat tube angle, it's not the lightest as I mentioned before, but it's very capable. It does climb. I use it as a trail bike also. It's like my go-to bike, as I said in the beginning. So I use it for everything that is not cross-country riding, and I'm very satisfied with it. So again, for me, the frame construction and how strong it is, it's one big plus. You will see here, for just a little example, among many other scratches, this is not even a scratch. I don't know if you can get to see it there. This is quite big. I know like a carbon frame bike would have been destroyed here. And maybe, I don't know about other brands, but I know that was a big hit. The saddle is one of the things I love the most about this bike. Usually I rather hollow saddles in every bike. That's the first thing I do upgrade on a bike. So I was very surprised to see that with the default saddle that it came, it was so comfortable. I had never used the WTB saddle, so I think if I ever upgrade a bike or upgrade a saddle, I will try to go for WTB again. They're surprisingly comfortable. I like that the chainstay protection here is it comes from the factory, and it doesn't go anywhere. Suspension wise, I'm not an expert. I'm still a new beginner when it comes to mountain biking, but I know this is very much like personal. I like the feeling of the suspension of the bike. The rear suspension really offer a ton of traction despite not being the highest end one, but I like the way Fox DPX2, I always forget the name, tracks your pedaling even when on the way up. In very technical trails, when you go up and down all the time, I don't even change the setup. I leave it full open, and I managed to keep the track upwards. If I know that it comes a very long uphill gravel road or something, then I might change it either in like pedaling position or full close position. but in my everyday riding, I leave it open almost, I would say, 80% of the time. And the front suspension also Fox 36 performance. I wouldn't change. I couldn't go back to RockShox. That's my opinion. I haven't tried high-end RockShox suspension, so I couldn't have any base to compare. You can maybe give your opinions down below in the comments. But for me, I think, in my opinion, 436 and Fox DPX2 in the rear, they work just fine for all the use that I give it. For the kind of use that I give to this little one.